From Dallas, Texas, this is the Visionaries Show with Mohan Ananda and Jen Crow, talking about business and entrepreneurship. Today's guest, Sidd Ahmed, technology and CEO guy. You're going to love this. Jen Crow, take it away.
Welcome to the Visionaries Show. My name is Jen Crow.
Mohan Ananda.
And for today we have, for our first episode, our guest is a technologist. His name is Sidd Ahmed, heavily followed on Instagram by a lot of people interested to learn about his business strategies and how to do it in such a way that you're advocating for servant leadership. Welcome to the show, Sidd Ahmed.
All right, thank you. Make some noise. All right, let's go. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, I need him.
Jen, Ananda, such a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, before we start,
Yes, please.
we want to have a conversation. The theme of the show is entrepreneurship. And we would love to talk to people like you, successful entrepreneur. Now, in a short sentence, what made you to become an entrepreneur?
The desire to excel in life. Coming from the background what I came from, and with little or no means, having seen my parents be there, so there was a burning desire to succeed in life. And I think that is what led to the spirit of entrepreneurship.
Did you tell us a little bit about your background? What did you do before you became an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so before I became an entrepreneur, I'll go back a little bit in time. I'm born and brought up in a place called as Trichy. It's a small college town based out of, it's close to Chennai in southern part of India, close to about 140 educational institutions. That's where I was born and brought up. A family of 6. I was the last in the family. My mom had gone my mom was a high school teacher. My dad studied only up to 10th grade, has never studied in college or anything of that nature, had never had a full-time job, so he'd done all odd jobs. For the family to raise me, to give us a good living, they tried to make all ends meet to make it happen. Right, and the only thing what they gave us is the gift of education. So I was the only kid who went to an English medium school, being raised in Trichy. As a result of that, I was fortunate to go to good schools and all of that, but I've never had fantastic credentials, went to great educational institutions or anything of that nature. That's just because of my academic failures, what I had. But having said that, what had happened was I'd always worked only for small businesses because of the educational credentials. So got into working for small businesses, but I always had this desire, like, just working for small businesses, the entrepreneurs were not able to really get that huge, audacious vision of building a large enterprise, having thousands of people and creating an impact. And that is what led me to really think about, and I'd always spoken to the entrepreneurs whom I'd worked for, stating that, hey, you should go and start something in Trichy because it has a huge talent pool. And that is a talent desert. And how can you convert it into a talent oasis? Because people always think about going to a talent oasis and doing something. But creating an economic and social impact. And Trichy was right at the heart of it. So that's when I thought, you know what? Hey, nobody's ready to listen to me. Let me go ahead and do this all by myself. And that's where I started the entrepreneurial journey. That was a short story, which I tried to pull it as much as possible. But that's my bit.
I think you're coming from a place of humility, because you said that the reason why you're a successful entrepreneur now is because of the desire to excel. But our audience can agree here that you wanted to do that so that you can give opportunities for other kids, for other people that was so difficult for you to attain when you were growing up, right?
I totally, I wouldn't, so first of all, when you said, am I a successful entrepreneur? I do not see that in myself yet. I still see there's the I think there are a lot of amazing entrepreneurs who have done amazing things. I'm just a small speck out there.
Well, I guess next to Mohan, we all are not yet there.
Absolutely, well said. Very well said.
No, he's a successful entrepreneur.
So I still do not feel that that success. I think there's a lot of other entrepreneurs who've done amazing things, and it's only a journey, and I've never arrived. That's the way I think about it. But having said that, you raised a very interesting point, which is about entrepreneur. It's about giving back to a community or a society and creating an economic and a social impact. That had been the heart of it. I'll tell you why. Because when I was raised in Trichy, the challenge what we had was, or growing up as a kid, this is a migratory town, right? And it is because there's no employment opportunities. There's never been a large employer out there. It's a migratory town, which means students come and study there, and after they pass out, they have to go elsewhere to get a job. Like me, I came to the U.S. Went to other cities and got a job. Because of that, I was always raised as by single parent, just by my mom, because my dad had to go and work in other cities to earn a living, right? So that's exactly what happened. So, in studying in a school, when I see parents come for PTA meetings, I would see certain children have their mom and dad, because they're doctors, engineers, this, that, architects, because they have their jobs, they have their own practices. But I did not have that kind of an upbringing, because my dad was not that. So I always had this desire, when will I have my mom and dad come together? And then, long story short, when I wanted to invest back there, right, the only thing which I wanted to do was, how could I create opportunities for people to live and work and raise their kids in Trichy? And today, because of that, in the last 10 years, over 10,000 jobs created in that particular city, currently about 750 people working in that city. We are the largest employer in town. We have created an economic and a social boom.
I'm familiar with that city, because I also come from the same city.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So after today's show,
Absolutely.
I want you guys to go over the lobby and grab some water. That water is from Kerala. There's something about the water in Kerala to produce people like them. Right?
So there's something about the water in Kerala which has produced him, and there is something about the water in Trichy which flows in the form of River Kaveri, where we both are from as well, because he has dual origins from Kerala and from Trichy, where he studied.
Exactly.
And he studied at an amazing institution, St. Joseph's, right? A lot of people think I'm St. Joseph's alumni as well, but St. Joseph's alumni had created the president of India as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
I know you're doing a lot at Trichy, but you're living here in the United States, right?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
How do I do that? Up until the time, so starting the business in 2007, right at the peak of recession from then, and I used to travel only once in a year. Mom, my sisters, my brothers, everybody lives in Trichy, and it used to be a far-fetched dream. But once I started the business and started putting up our Global Capability Center, which is based out of Trichy, and we have larger teams working out there, I need to spend more time with the teams out there, right? So having said that, what was your question again? I lost my
How are
train
you
of thought.
able to manage that?
How did
how do
Being
I?
able to make that plan of yours thrive in your hometown while
Yeah.
living here?
Oh, yes. Okay. That comes to the next stage of entrepreneurship, right? Or initially in my, while I was building the organization, I had to do a lot of travels, me, myself being the leader, being there physically present with the teams. But the moment in the last 5 years, my entire C-suite, like the CSO, the CFO, the chief operating officer, some of the business leaders, so we decided that, you know what, that is our Global Capability Center, which delivers for all of our Fortune 1000 customers globally in over 14 countries. We got to be more physically present there. So as a result of which we started taking turns. And they knew that it is not okay to tax just the organization, just one leader, just the CEO of the organization to go and physically be present. So now I have like almost every time, like amongst like 6 leaders, they take turns and they are there almost every other month. So that's how the teams are well aligned to the overall organization, although we are headquartered out of Atlanta.
Now, would you consider as a Indian company or the U.S. company?
We would consider it as a global company.
But where are you headquartered in?
We are headquartered out of the U.S.
Oh, it is the...
Yeah, it's a U.S.-based, it's a U.S. headquartered firm, but we would always call it as a global firm, not attaching to one particular region per se, because we are delivering in like 14 countries, so it has to be a multicultural organization. That's the way.
Yeah, let me kind of give you kind of what the purpose of the show.
Sure, sir.
Is to help other entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And we are kind of interested in 5 areas.
Sure.
Capital raising, scaling up, M&A, brand creation, and exit. Now, out of these 5, what kind of vision you can provide to our audience?
Yeah, I think I can provide a good vision around branding. So we spoke about M&A, scale, branding, exits, and what was the last one?
That is the first one, capital raising.
Capital raising, yeah. So capital raising, I can do a rapid fire around all of these.
Okay.
All right?
Go ahead.
First thing is raising capital. All right. Started this business with $500 because services business does not need any capital at all.
It's a professional services.
Professional services, right? And I knew this is the way to build a business. And I was also interested in products, but I thought, you know what is my sweet spot? What I do, what have I gained in the last 15 years in starting my career? I knew recruiting, I knew staffing, and that's what I wanted to be in my sweet spot. What can I do really best, right? So that's where I was, and we built this organization. First 100 million crossed in 2016, from 2007 to 2016. The moment we went into 2016, that's when we started thinking about how do we become a centennial? How can we last for the next 100 years? So that's when we thought, you know what, we need to put in some good advisory board. Advisory board started pushing us, hey, don't think only about staffing, think about services, products. Anything can get disrupted. So as a result of which, we said, okay, now that you have built a services business and you have a good retained income in the organization, because we knew that one day we are going to get into services space where it is going to be capital intensive. Product is going to be capital intensive, and you don't want to go and raise capital from the outside. If you don't want to, Bob Nardelli told me once, and he was there in the organization when we were talking about building the product idea about Vouch, and we had this idea, and Bob had come in. Bob was he was the CEO of Chrysler, and prior to that he was with GE and Home Depot. And Bob said, "Son, if you don't need a dollar, don't borrow a dollar. It's going to be very hard to repay. So think about it." So that was the lesson. What I learned till date. All the 5 organizations what we built never raised a dollar. So raising capital is not a topic which I would be in a position to speak about, but that's what I've been trying to understand all along at the Visionary Roundtable.
You're bootstrapping all this time.
Yeah.
You have to talk to, there's a connection I would want you to speak to. They're bootstrapping to $1 billion.
Oh, wow. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So you said bootstrapping to $1 billion, and that is the
they're
vision.
bootstrapping, or they're not raising capital. They're growing into $1 billion.
Yeah.
Without getting outside capital.
This is awesome. What a story. And you would talk about our story very soon as well, because that's our journey. We are heading to the $1 billion journey as a minority firm, the second minority firm to be listed. We are saying that we will get public after the $1 billion journey, but we wanted to raise no borrow, no debt, don't borrow any money and get to the $1 billion. Can you do that? And that's what we're trying to do as well.
I only heard go public, and for the what do you call that when you ring the bell? You know my number.
Listed.
You know my number. I can fly to New York.
So out of the 5, the capital raising is not your cup of tea.
Yeah, capital raising is not my cup of tea. Scaling is our cup of tea, definitely.
You've already done that. I think.
Yeah,
Scale.
Yes. We've built scale across all the 5 businesses, and we've made all the 5 businesses profitable. But where our sweet spot is around branding.
Right.
There's a powerful story around our business, and this is what I talk about every other time, is that we had this idea. I knew how this industry works about talent management. That's where I started from. Built this business initially up into $100 million, and through this journey, the only thing, like for example, when you start thinking about, hey, where do I set up my captive center? Immediately, what we start thinking about it is, I just spoke about Talent Oasis and Talent Desert, right? A lot of people think about, you know what, hey, as entrepreneurs, we think about it. We want to go to where the talent pool is available. We'll go to the largest metros and try to set up things, right? But never have the thought to really invest in the community and grow the talent, because we don't want to burn cash at that time. We start thinking, okay, how is that talent pool really going to produce, right? And we don't have that patience. So what we did was we invested in a town. We said, for our global customers, for our Fortune 1000 customers, for the largest automotive manufacturers, energy and utility companies, it's a talent which is in a city which nobody ever knew. We built the talent ground up. In this whole journey of building services, products, or talent management, and building many of these organizations, and being featured in various different stories. I'll have to tell you this as well. Partnering with educational institutions, premium education institutions like the IIMs and the IITs, attracting talent because we are delivering for Fortune 1000 customers, and then going on to be featured in the Harvard Business Review. And IIM, today, as a case study, VDart is a case study of a company which has grown as a result of its culture, and which has created an economic and a social boom from a small city, delivering for Fortune 1000 corporations, is a case study which is solved by IIM students year on year, and that is now featured on Harvard Business Review. So if you just Google on Harvard Business Review and VDart, you will see that story.
Fantastic.
But the real hero of all the story is not Sidd, not VDart, it's the city Trichy. And that's a powerful story.
That's a great thing to know, because I'm from Trichy.
Yeah. So the brand is around Trichy. It's not about me, or it's not about VDart. So when you talk about branding, you should make somebody the hero, and the CEO is not the hero of the story. The company is not the hero. There is some other element, and the element is truly creating a social and an economic impact for the lives of people, and that's why we say people, purpose, and planet is our North Star. And business happens automatically. Everything else will be fine.
Okay,
That's
so
fantastic. Now, before we go complete,
yeah, he should write a book. Oh, you're writing a book.
he's writing a book. There are two other subjects,
Sure, sir.
M&A and exit.
Yeah.
But of course, exit is something we have to kind of postpone depending upon what happens. M&A, have you done anything, or are you looking at it?
Yes, I'll talk through that a little bit. I think as growing up as entrepreneur, there's never been an entrepreneur in our family. I'm the first entrepreneur ever. And the whole entrepreneurial journey has been a learning experience for me. Every day is a learning experience, because I'm sitting on the heap of the pile. We grew from, I never knew how to get the first $1 million. We got it. I was able to do it individually as the first $1 million. I was able to get to a $300 million. Every day is a new day for me and a new journey, because I don't have that background at all. And it is just surrounding people. I'll tell you why I'm saying this story. It's just by getting into conversations with people in visionary roundtable conferences like this, where I'm getting insight about mergers and acquisitions, exits, and I still feel, when I was sitting at this conference, sitting at the roundtables, I was like so inspired by Mr. Ananda, all right, and Mr. James, and so many other entrepreneurs who have done this so well, and I feel, they are rocket scientists, and how do I learn this trade, and get better at it? So why do I say this? M&A has been on top of our mind, because we know that the growth to $1 billion journey is going to happen at some point in time. We've already hit that plateau.
I mean, you have been doing organic growth, which is going.
Absolutely.
This acquisition is inorganic, but it may be you can speed it up.
Absolutely. So we've gotten to a stage where we want to grow further, but the growth is getting challenging. So that's when we thought we will set up a team which will just do M&A for us. Last 2 years, we've been evaluating various different assets, but today I had a lot more insights in terms of how to look M&A better. Although our internal teams may be equipped, but it's experts like you and other people where we would be in a position to gain an insight in terms of how M&A has to be done well. But to grow an organization, I sincerely believe, coming from you and coming from James in one of those conversations where you all had mentioned about, hey, it has to be a combination of organic and inorganic. I think that gives us a unique set of challenges as well, right? Because I've never had integration of those two companies.
It will become a little challenge if you have to bring some other team and put it together. So, but it may be a learning experience.
Yeah. I'm up for learning.
Exactly. There are two types of exit.
Yeah.
Exit is when private company, is bought by a public company or another company. That means you sell it.
Yeah.
That's an exit. But another exit is going public.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Which path do you think you want to go into?
Yeah. So I've been dwelling on this for quite a bit.
Is dwelling, is it an AI term? Or?
As we delve into.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. I've been thinking about it. I've been pondering about it for quite a bit now. And so what happens is, going public is something which is, as an entrepreneur, you always think, okay, I have to go public, all right? At least for me, because I'm very, very focused on growth. The moment you stagnate, you know what, there are lots of entrepreneurs, and this is what I do in coaching moments as well when I'm talking to small businesses, is there's no fun in playing a sport and saying that, you know what, I'm just happy with $1 million business, because you're a lifestyle entrepreneur. I believe in growth, creating opportunities, get to $500 million, get to $1 billion, continue to create opportunities for people, continue to impact people. That's the way I think about it. So anyways, in this journey, at the moment we hit the 100 and 200 million, people were asking, hey, when are you going public? And that got to me, you know what, I have to go public. And then I started researching a little bit about going public and not going public, and how much control do you have going public, and how much control you would have just staying private, and then what is the actual reason why you would want to go public? Are you trying to raise funds? And that's one of the things which comes across going public, is what I presume.
Yeah, let me kind of, I've talked to a number of companies owned by Indians in India. Yeah. They have the same question because they don't like to lose control. They want to be in charge. Okay. Going public, I mean, there are some companies with more than 50% owned by the original founder or owner, but most of the time, especially in the US, you don't own that much. It's most public owns quite a bit, a large percentage, but still you can maintain the control. The reason being, the public shareholders, you bring independent directors, they represent the public shareholders. So you, the CEO or who runs the company, still manage, but of course the shareholders can kick the CEO out if needed to be. I mean, if things don't work out. If you remember recently what happened to Sam Altman. So those things can happen, but of course they brought it back because they made a mistake. But I wouldn't worry about the losing control part. But it's a good thing to have a liquidity event, and having that gets much more relationship. And once you have another reason, the valuation. You probably know this. If you're a private company, the multiplier to the EBITDA is smaller, 5 to 6 times maybe, or even close to that. Whereas if you're a public company, the value would become 12 to 15. So you have a natural 3 to 4 times value adding, because the reason it makes sense. But private companies don't have that many disclosure requirement. There is no SEC coming into play. But whereas a public company, it's like an open book. Everything has to be, so people are ready to pay higher prices. So that's the rationale behind going public.
Well, Thank you so
And
much
is it
for
something
offering.
you're really much more interested in than
Yeah. So here's what we were thinking. So I wanted to complete that story. Everybody was saying, hey, that you should go public, and I had this thought process. But thank you so much for clarifying. The way I'm looking at it, Jen, is I want to experience it all. Right? If I just had one firm, I could not take it to public. Then even if I take it public, what happens to the real impact, the hero of our story, which is Trichy? After I take it public, when it's a publicly traded firm, the decisions what they are going to make to whether still Trichy continues to deliver for the company, I don't know.
I mean, it depends. For example, if your leadership really has to be kind of educated, the whole purpose is to help the Trichy as a base. Yeah. And if we can continue that, there would be no change.
So we could do that even while we are publicly traded, is
Yes,
it?
certainly.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah. No. I mean, of course, if the board decides we don't care about Trichy, we want to do something else, then you can't do anything about it. But you bring the right people to the team.
Got it.
I mean, you can pick an independent board who is interested in Trichy. Like for me, as an example, somebody who is, then it becomes very natural to. I mean, it's a function of how you plan things together.
Oh, you know what? This is one interesting insight. Imagine this entire journey, I never knew about this insight. How, and this is where all these learning moments happen. You never know. It is definitely a possibility, because the way I think about it is, well, the way I was thinking about it is, I want to experience it all. I want to have a privately held firms, all right? And when we are doing these carve-outs in services and products, take one of those firms, because a product firm, when you take it to public, it has a much bigger valuation rather than a staffing firm or a services firm.
That is true. However, sometimes, I mean, you may, if you're really aggressive and ambitious, you can have multiple companies going public. But that may take too much time. But you can have a subsidiary or an integrated company, one company, which has certain product division. There is a professional services division, or other type of, together, one company, and go public. And then at the right time, you may be able to take a highly valuable part of it, sell it to a PE, private equity firm. And then you will get a higher multiplier.
Awesome.
So because you're a public company to begin with.
Yeah.
So people, that doesn't mean that once you're a public company, it has to be all together on a regular basis. No, you can carve out. Excellent. You can spin. I mean, a lot of big companies spin out.
So what is the easiest way, Dr. Ananda, to ask this question? So we talk a lot about SPACs nowadays in terms of getting to public the easiest possible route. So if you can talk a little bit about SPAC and how do we quickly get to public.
SPAC is one vehicle.
Yeah.
SPAC is the difference between a regular IPO and SPAC. The regular IPO, you go through an investment banker.
Okay.
Investment banker kind of values the company, the company's performance and everything. That's the path to go, which is a normal IPO process. SPAC already is public company. It's a demerger. That SPAC is acquiring another company. So when the SPAC goes public, they have no record, no business. It's more of a fictional kind of a company with good, hopefully, talent in the management. Now they go and review the companies, and then they bring it, they acquire and merge the company, and this company becomes public. So either path is, the right thing to do. Whichever is easier, it's a function of you should explore both opportunities. Like you talk to, of course you can go to Goldman Sachs or, UBS, Merrill Lynch or Bank of America to go take your company public. Or there is a second tier part like Roth Capital. There are good investment banking. They may, take you to the same destination. Review that. In the meantime, also look at SPAC opportunities, talk to them and see which makes sense, which is better for you, how soon you can go in. So everything has to be explored. That's the way I would recommend.
If I may ask one last question, Jen. So in a way, should we think as entrepreneurs, a form of exit,
Yes.
right? Taking the IPO route is a form of an exit. Is that?
It's not really an exit, it's a liquidity event.
It's a liquidity event. Okay.
A true exit is when you sell the company to somebody else, some other private company, private firm, or to a public company. Then there is if you sell it to a private company, you may get cash, or you may, like private equity people generally pays cash. They don't give any equity. Whereas another private company, they may give equity in their parent, that company.
Got it.
Whereas a public company, there is a potential for cash. They also give shares, meaning their equity, or a combination of it, depending upon the particular transaction.
Got it.
But my thinking is, if you may not want to get all cash at the same time, the reason is it's a major taxable event.
Got it.
So if you get in equity, but of course there is a risk. What happens if the equity falls down? But there is you can postpone but depending upon the company, sometimes equity is much better. I was telling this story to people, the waste management, how they rolled up various trash collections. They all did very well. I mean, it's instead of getting cash, they get the equity, and the equity value goes up. So so something to look into. All options are available, but the going public is a liquidity event.
Awesome. Thank you.
Based on what I heard for the last 10 minutes, now I understand why Mohan's last book about business is this thick. Anyway, I'm so grateful to be among some of the most successful people in business here on this stage. And thank you so much, Sidd.